Namaste, Jai Hind and welcome to this edition of The Right Stand. I am Anand Narasimhan. Has Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his team stumped the opposition's caste census card with 3 new BJP faces in the heartland states of Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh? A tribal leader in Chhattisgarh, an OBC face in Madhya Pradesh and a Brahmin face given the top job in Rajasthan. Core Sangathan workers and long-time BJP loyalists have been given the nod. Those who have organizational experience along with a certain popularity, a certain currency with the voter in their respective states and regions have been picked. Most importantly, the BJP has carefully chosen the top 4 in these 3 states. So the CM, 2 deputy CMs and the speaker, keeping the caste arithmetic in mind. With months to go for the 2024 Lok Sabha polls where the BJP is eyeing a 3rd term at the centre, is this the BJP's counter to this caste census pitch of the opposition? Let's try and understand the breakup in each of these states in a little bit of detail. Chhattisgarh. So we have a tribal CM in Vishnudev Sai, a deputy CM in Arun Sao, and a deputy CM who's a Brahmin, and the speaker is a Rajput. So this is the combination in Chhattisgarh: tribal, OBC, Brahmin, and Rajput. So it is Sabka Saath here. Then, if you look at the next set is Madhya Pradesh. The Chief Minister is Mohan Yadav. Again, an OBC, one of the only Yadav's Chief Ministers across the country right now. Deputy CM is an SC in Jagdish Deoda. Again, a Brahmin face in Rajendra Shukla is another Deputy CM. And the Speaker, a former Union Minister, Union Agriculture Minister Narendra Tomar, again, he is a Rajput. Let's look at Rajasthan. Chief Minister is a Brahmin face, Bhajan Lal Sharma. Deputy Chief Minister, a Rajput face in Diya Kumari from the royal family. And Deputy Chief Minister is an SC, that is Premchand Behrwa. And the Speaker, again, is an SC from in the form of Vasudev Devnani. Now, if we look at this entire grouping, is there a formula also which the BJP now seems to have bested to try and break this entire jiski jitni hissedari, jiski jitni sankhya bhari uski utni hissedari pitch of the opposition? Caste composition. The first tribal chief minister in Chhattisgarh, the nation's only Yadav CM and currently in Madhya Pradesh, and Brahmin CM in Rajasthan. The other aspect is the acceptance factor of these leaders also seen, sending a big message to party cadre that anyone can become a chief minister as one is disciplined and seniority does not matter. Loyalty to the party, core commitment, connection to the grassroots and the ability to work hard as a karyakarta, that's what matters. Lok Sabha 2024, the choice is taken keeping the upcoming Lok Sabha elections in mind, where the BJP is aiming for a hat-trick, and this is an indication that there will be a lot of new faces who will be given a chance. People who are working for the Sangathan, core workers, there's the impression that only imports will get a chance. That is also now the effort is to dispel that. Chance to new faces, moving on from the tried and tested multiple-time chief ministers like Shivraj Singh Chauhan, Raman Singh and Vasundhara Raje, saying that the BJP will not allow a culture of regional satraps to build within the party. Another issue which the Congress has suffered under Ashok Gehlot and some of the others. This satrapism is something that's being challenged openly and saying no, there is no space for satrapism. It's a corporate structure and you will work based on your ability and everybody will get a chance. No level of parivarvad directly or indirectly also. To our nepotism. To note, all 3 chief ministers are below the age of 60, which implies that the BJP wants to bring in a certain level of next-gen leadership as majority of the voters are also young. These are people who have at least 10 to 15 years more as far as public service is concerned. Roots in the BJP, very, very important. All 3 chief minister choices have been part of the ABVP. So since their student day politics, they have been working with BJP and its political, roots, and of course the mother of it all, that is the RSS, and they have roots within the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh also. So simply put, the question is, will this entire culture of Sabka Saath, doing away with satrapism, and more importantly, making sure that everybody has the chance, everybody has the right to dream, will this actually topple this entire bogey of caste census?
Hello, Moto.
Let's go straight across to our guest, Dr. Ajay Alok, national spokesperson of the BJP, Dr. Anand Ranganathan, author and political commentator, George Kurian, political analyst, and Sanjeev Srivastava, senior journalist. Namaste and Jai Hind. A lot has happened in Jaipur ever since you have had a personal celebration, Sanjeev Srivastava. So let me ask you this. Did you see it coming? Did anyone see this coming?
Nobody saw it coming. So that's the big thing about the present dispensation led by Mr. Modi, that surprise, I think, is the most overriding factor. Then once we get the surprise, then like Anand, you just now did in your introduction, we can attribute attributes to it as to how this surprise has happened and what are the great merits. And I don't dispute all of them, frankly, because the combination in Chhattisgarh, Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh, on the face of it, sounds brilliant. My only somewhat note of dissent or disagreement is that what happens to all the experience which the party has nurtured over these decades. So what happens with the Shivrajes of the world and the Vasundharas of the world? And imagine, even in Rajasthan, everybody had written off Vasundhara, but there were 10 other contenders whose names were doing the round. And since yesterday, we were all talking about who will be the Mohan Yadav of Rajasthan. With all respects to Mohan Yadav and with all respects to Mr. Bhajanlal Sharma, it is only a question of unpredictability. So, Mr. Modi sprang even a bigger surprise in Rajasthan because he's a first-time MLA. So, like Gujarat, Mr. Bhupendra Patel. So, the caste combination, all that is fine. I still believe that irrespective of this combination, Mr. Modi would have still been standing very tall vis-a-vis the Lok Sabha elections, because I don't for 1 second believe it is this permutation which is going to work in 2024 Lok Sabha. It's Mr. Modi's space. So these people would have just settled down. They would have been at best a few weeks old. But that's fine. But good calculation, like in Rajasthan, like you just enlisted, Rajput, Brahmin CM, Rajput and Dalit deputy CMs, and similarly in both the other states. So great on ground. Only thing is, what happens with all the experience? Where do they head now?
But they can continue to be Karyakartas. That's the whole idea. You may have tons of experience. That doesn't mean you will only sit on the kursi. You have other roles to play. Raman Singh ji can be chief minister, who was chief minister, now he is the speaker. Narendra Tomar, who was agriculture minister, now he is the speaker. So everybody plays every role.
Making leaders Karyakartas has also been a great hallmark of this dispensation. So well, we continue.
Point is sir, जब तक आपके पैर जमीन पर हैं, तब तक आपका कद ऊंचा है. जिस दिन आपके पैर ज्यादा उठने लगे तो आप गिरे तो भी टांग ऊपर वाला सिनेरियो आपका हो भी सकता है. But George but because sir, point is at the end of the day, everybody has to realize you cannot flex muscle. See, nobody wants an Ashok Gehlot repeat. Even the Congress doesn't want it, George Kurian ji. They'll be happy. Kash हमने किया होता. Maybe everybody could be thinking, kash हमने ये किया होता. So that we don't have people who will blackmail us and say, give me both party presidentship and continue to retain chief ministership.
That can only happen when you have a strong central leader.
George Kurian ji?
Congress failed because it was a weak central leadership.
Let him respond on that. George Kurian.
Anand, good evening to you, to my co-panelists on the show, and to your audience. Firstly, let me appreciate the fact that Bhartiya Janata Party has played very well as far as the caste equation is concerned, with the 3 new states that has come into their court, Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan. They have played it really well with the tribal community, be it the OBC scheduled caste and the Rajput community. So BJP is good at building up a narrative to the run up to 2024, no doubt about it. And I strongly believe that the Congress Party and the united opposition is pushing for the caste census to keep in mind, because it is primarily used by the government and the policy makers and academics and other institutions to capture the Indian population, access the resources, mapping the social economic change and conduct distribution delimitation exercise. Basically, so these are the factors I would like to say that just building up a narrative, but not the population who are deserving won't get anything much is what I genuinely believe, because
please tell me
it is going to
out of these groups, the minority are the Brahmins in all the states. Even they have gotten something of their due as far as the caste combinations. बाकी सब की तो संख्या भारी है. Be it the Savarn among the Rajput or the scheduled caste और द ट्राइबल्स इन ईच ऑफ दी स्टेट्स, उनकी तो संख्या भारी है, उनको तो मिला है। आपको तो पूरा नैरेटिव ही कट हो गया।
Anand, all said and done, but what I'm trying to put across to your audience is that Bharatiya Janata Party is going to control these states through the central leadership. The chief ministers are going to be just the yes man for them, and all the policies are going to be drafted as per the central leadership what they fancy. So I strongly believe how much is going to penetrate down these caste so section of the society is yet to be seen.
Ajay Alok ji, please respond.
I just don't understand one thing. When an analyst says that the all policies are going to be written by the center and the state is going to implement them, I guess the same party government is there in center and same party government is there in state, what we call double engine. Then what do you expect? You expect this double engine to run in opposite direction? No, sir. It will run in the same direction, and the speed and the acceleration will be much more faster than what you expect. You don't expect us to run a government like what Ashok Gehlot ran along with Sachin Pilot, or what Baghel ran with T.S. Singh for 2.5 years agreement. This is a cadre-based, dedicated party which is working on its ideology. And we have our ideology firm even when we were on 2 seats and even when we are on 303. And the same goes for the state also. Any state we are going to come, we are going to implement our ideology. There is no doubt about it. And there is no difference in the state and the center ideology. The point here is that there is a constant endeavor in the central leadership to create new leadership. This was there when Atalji Advani ji was there, and leaders like Narendra Modi, Sushma Swaraj, Arun Jaitley, Pramod Mahajan, they were created. When Narendra Modi ji assumed power, leaders like Devendra Fadnavis, Raghubar Das, Khattar, now you see all these 3 states, new leadership is being created. So this is our constant endeavor. Pushkar Singh Dhami, for that matter. In Gujarat, you see, we have done 2-3 CMs were changed. Why? In Goa, yeah. Because this is all to infuse new blood, fresh blood, so that the ideas can be there, energy should be there to run the state, the enthusiasm should be there. There should not be any laid-back attitude. You cannot be on the driving seat with a laid-back attitude with a low attention level. Sorry, that is not required.
पर 163 के साथ मामा जी ने भारी बहुमत से रिटर्न कराया, काम किया, 160 रैलीज भी की अजय आलोक जी. तो then it's not that they were sitting with a laid-back attitude. You may have that to a certain extent with Rani Saiba, but not with Mama ji. And on the other hand, Raman Singh ji also has not been.
There is no going denying the fact that Shivraj Singh Chauhan is one of the tallest leader in the Bhartiya Janata Party and in Madhya Pradesh. And what he has done, he has actually steered Madhya Pradesh from non-developed state to almost a developed state now. There is now no doubt about the fact. He has nurtured Madhya Pradesh. But there are many more responsibility ahead of him. And Bhartiya Janata Party, don't forget, we have a very large organization who is running the country and who is running several states. Maybe Shivraj Singh Chauhan ji will get the responsibility somewhere else. Such a big organization, so we are not going to make him sit idle again in the house.
This is the largest political party in the largest democracy. तो काम तो बहुत सारा है. सेंटर में हो, स्टेट में हो, दूसरे स्टेट के इंचार्ज के रूप में हो, कैसे भी हो, काम तो बहुत सारा होगा. बट अजय आलोक जी, बिफोर आई ब्रिंग इन डॉक्टर रंगनाथन, ये कास्ट सेंसस वाला जो ये बोगी है ऑपोजिशन का, ये थोड़ा खटक रहा है. दैट्स व्हाई ऑल दिस मैसेजिंग, स्पेशली मध्य प्रदेश, वो क्या पड़ोस में जो उत्तर प्रदेश है और वहाँ एक यादव जी बैठे हैं जो बहुत अखरे हुए थे कांग्रेस से. इज दैट अ मैसेज टू हिम? देखो, वो तो सीट भी नहीं दे पाए, हमने तो कुर्सी दे दी यादव को.
See Anand, that's not the case. For the last 20 years in politics, if you say Yadav, एक फोटो पिक्चर सामने आती थी मुलायम सिंह यादव, दूसरी फोटो पिक्चर आती थी लालू यादव, अब आती है अखिलेश यादव, तेजस्वी यादव. Name another Yadav leader. You yourself name another Yadav leader which you can't figure out if you call some Yadav leader. So if today BJP has given Mohan Yadav as his chief minister face in Madhya Pradesh, who does not have any lineage, and when he goes to public rally in Uttar Pradesh or say in Bihar, and he says कि भाइयों बहनों, अखिलेश यादव हैं, मुलायम सिंह यादव पिता थे, तेजस्वी यादव है, लालू यादव पिता थे, मैं मोहन यादव, मैं आपको प्रणाम करता हूँ, मेरे पिताजी का जरा नाम बताइए. I'm sure all of us sitting in the panel, we don't know the name. What about the crowd? So this is the difference, how you get out of the Parivarvad. That is not Samajwad, that is completely Parivarwad. Here the party is doing each and everything to promote every caste and creed, like what Pradhan Mantri said earlier. कि मेरे लिए सिर्फ 4 जात है, गरीब, किसान, युवा, महिला, इन चारों को सशक्त बनाना है. And if all these 4 lanterns they become empowered, where comes the caste census?
Sir, in the beginning and the end, that was the entire
we are not
political.
Against the caste census. Day after tomorrow also, Amit Shah ji said in Bihar, we are not against caste census. Who said we are against caste census? And forget it. The opposition basically problem है अपनी narrative नहीं समझ पाती है. They are fighting with a guy who has mandal in head and commander in heart. कहाँ से लड़ेंगे भाई?
So ये पूरा in this very nicely put out political argument, जो बीच का पार्ट है, that is the most relevant one, Dr. Ranganathan. जब एक मोहन यादव जाकर बिहार और उत्तर प्रदेश में कहेगा ये मेरा परिचय है, so what's the messaging that's going to go across?
Good evening, Anand, and good evening to my fellow panelists. It's a wonderful discussion. Before I come to the main thrust of the thesis that you put for all of us, can I just make a couple of points? One is to heartily congratulate the new chief ministers of the states, Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh and Madhya Pradesh. I think it's incredible that new blood has been chosen, and I can be excused if I'm not able to exactly remember the names of these 3 BJP chief ministers. I dare say most of the BJP leaders, maybe Dr. Alok remembered them, but most of them even did not know who was going to be the chief minister. But that's something incredible, and that's to be encouraged and that's to be applauded, because it's just unbelievable that someone who has been a chief minister incumbent for 18 years and got them a landslide bigger than any other state in living memory has happily relinquished his position and given chance to a complete newbie. Remember in the opposition what happened? You had Mr. Gehlot slapping charges of sedition against Sachin Pilot. So, this is something really incredible, and this has been BJP's modus operandi for a very long time, and that is to be applauded, as I said. The other thing also, if I may say so, Anand, is that, of course, you broke it down into the various castes, but I dare say sometimes, cynicism gets the better of us. I mean, for example, when you talk about, tribal and, these identities, Brahmins constitute only 4.5 to 5% of Rajasthan. So he's chosen a Brahmin, whereas he could have chosen someone from SC, ST that constitute 35% of the population. So I maybe say that, look, I think we're getting too cynical. We have chosen people on the basis of their aptitude and ability. So let's go forward with that. I mean, let's leave it at that. But now coming back to the 2 issues, because that's very important. You talked about the caste and where does Congress go from here. Clearly, it has been shown the door. But the fact of the matter is that, let's be very honest about it, raking up the caste is the last throw of dice for the Congress. It wants to pour molten lava down India's fault lines. It's like another Kafkaesque dream of scorching the earth and then emerging from the cave to rule it. So like a self-obsessed Pied Piper, they are leading mice and men to the cliff edge. Their army is marching in step and ominously, like Jinnah's was. But there's a difference. While Jinnah, who said, we will either have a divided India or a destroyed India, manage the former. Congress is intent upon managing the latter. I have said this before and I repeat. Making sense of Rahul Gandhi is as easy as consuming rasam with chopsticks. Remember, he is the same industrial scale liar who called the farm laws as black laws and incited the entire country against them, but didn't disclose that the exact 3 farm reforms were promised by him in the Congress manifesto. Remember, he is the same guy who came onto the streets against the CAA but did not tell the protesters that it was his party that demanded citizenship rights for Bangladeshi minorities, i.e. Hindus. He is the same hypocrite who says Modi is in the pocket of Adani and that Adani is corrupt but does not inform the nation that his Congress states continue to be invested 85,000 crores in Adani. So this is the hypocrisy of Rahul Gandhi. He is hypocrisy incarnate. Now, very quickly, let me come to the question of reservations. It is amusing, Anand, that Rahul Gandhi is now waxing eloquent about caste census when it was his government at the center that conducted the caste census but did not make it public for 3 years. Remember, it was his government at the state recently in Karnataka that conducted the caste census but did not make it public for 4 years. Remember, it was his government at the center that, despite knowing the OBC percentage in India to be more than 30%, did not make more than 3% OBCs as secretaries. Remember, it was his government in Rajasthan that gave only 10% tickets to women for recent elections. This while he cries for 33% reservation, and today he wants to give them rights. And when he says "Jitni abadi, utna haq," does he even understand the repercussions of what he's saying, or what havoc his statement can bring to minorities, both ethnic and religious, among communities? Finally, as far as reservations are concerned, beyond the hypocrisy of every political party, Anand, I have very briefly 3 points to make. Number one, if this is a moral obligation, then why is the creamy layer also included in the quotas? Are they not privileged enough now? Does the family of Rahul Prasad Yadav, for example, need reservations? Number two, as was reinforced by none other than the Chief Justice of India, that even Ambedkar wanted reservations only for a limited period of 10 to 30 years. Why do our present crop of politicians not have the guts to implement that? And finally, 30 seconds, 3. And I have said this, if giving reservations a moral obligation, and it is, I believe it, then why are reservations excluded from certain domains and sectors, the prominent among them being the judiciary? Why do the judges suddenly think of merit when it comes to appointing their own, but think of quotas when it comes to appointing doctors, scientists and their professionals? Why are only 11% of all judges of High Courts and Supreme Court women? Why have all the 25 Chief Justices of High Courts, none of them being women? Why is only one ST judge ever been a Supreme Court judge? Why only 3% of Supreme Court judges are Dalits? Is that not hypocrisy itself?
You're not allowed to question the courts, sir. The courts are allowed to do, they have a free run. They have a free passage and they can decide who they will want to appoint. They have their own collegium. They are the only self-regulatory constitutional body in this country. A pillar that stands on itself does not depend on the others but tells the others to depend on it. But that said, we are digressing. Let's come back to the point. George Korean, ye caste census to fail ho gaya. Point here, what is the Congress going to do against all of this now? It's further cured the pitch for the Congress and the opposition ahead of Lok Sabha 2024, George Korean.
Well, I don't see it that way, Anand. I strongly believe that here BJP is actually in double standards. On one side they're talking about the uniform civil code. On the other side, they're doing this caste politics here. So at the end of the day, I strongly believe that the voters are really confused about the entire thing as to what is BJP up to at this point in time. But as far as the Congress and the united opposition, the India alliance is concerned, they're firm about the caste census, and because for the socio-economic benefit of all the castes in this country, and we strongly believe that we are firm about it and we're going to get into action.
Sir, voters, I don't know. One voter is clearly confused, and with due respect, that is Mr. George Korean. What is comparing uniform civil code with this kind of a caste census or a caste reservation or a reservation got to do, or whatever you compared it with? It confounded me, sir, totally. Uniform civil code is a common civil code for everybody. And how can you make that comparison, sir? Sir, if the argument has to be made on a basis, you can't just say something and just say apple is equal to orange and apple is not equal to orange, hence pear is equal to orange. No, sir, that's not possible. Sanjeev ji, does this cure the pitch for the Congress further or not? Have they shot themselves in the foot by adopting somebody else's rhyme? In this case, the JDU. Whenever they have co-opted something which has been said by one of their alliance partners, it's backfired on the Congress party. Agree, disagree, Sanjeev ji?
I don't know about agreeing with whether it was JDU's idea which Congress has followed, but the bottom line remains that the caste census, all theory or bogey or slogan I don't think it's going to serve much purpose from here on till the national elections. More or less, the national elections narrative has been set. The only thing which the opposition can frankly do, of course, they can come up with a brighter idea than I can think of. But the one thing which they can still do, perhaps, and which may help them to some extent, and maybe not much, is to put up in as many seats as possible one candidate against the ruling coalition, NDA. That's the best. I don't think they can come up with any slogan, they can come up with any idea which is new, because most of the things that they have talked about have failed in recent past. And these 3 election results are very crucial and a very big pointer to how things are likely to play out, at least in the heartland. And again, like I have been saying, even the Telangana vote, I think for Lok Sabha, the BJP need not be so depressed with losing there because they've got a good vote share. So even in South India, in Karnataka and Telangana, the BJP may actually end up doing better than what most of its detractors think.
Correct.
So the opposition best case scenario is to really put their head together, sit together, realize the hopelessness and the desperate nature of the situation, and somehow cobble together one candidate against the BJP candidate in as many constituencies as they can. And
Right.
even that may not suffice, but that's the best they can do, and that's the best they should do.
Right, black and white on this side of the screen, beige on this side. It's not something that is planned, it's just a matter of coincidence. I'm talking about the sartorial choices of our panelists today. But final word, Ajay Alok ji, the Bhagavad Gita says, Karm kiye ja, phal ki ichha mat kar. The BJP is saying, Kaam kiye ja, kursi ki ichha mat kar. Result will come to you. Is that the message?
We do believe in working for the people and all the time. We don't have time to take rest or holidays. Now it's not our problem if the opposition, so-called India Alliance, they behave like they have a disease called autophagia. In this autophagia, the body starts eating its own parts. That's what we have seen. This whole India Alliance is out to destroy each other. So that's a good thing for us. We want this to happen more and more. And under the dynamic and brilliant leadership of Rahul Gandhi, let this India Alliance flourish and they should move like indigo. That's what we wish. It's good enough. What we are doing, we are constantly working. Our again rethink plan is different. That's why we have lost so many seats. We are working on that. And we are totally focused on Lok Sabha elections. That whatever compensation has to be made, it has to be made within 3 months. We don't have time left.
बिहार से हम कन्फ्यूजिया सुने थे, आज पहली बार ऑटोफेजिया सुने हैं. दैट्स अ टेक्निकल टर्म, अ साइंटिफिक वन, बट कमिंग इन फ्रॉम समबडी हु हेल्स फ्रॉम बिहार बट इज ऑल्सो अ डॉक्टर बाय प्रैक्टिस, दैट इज इंटरेस्टिंग. आई विल रिटेन दैट. किसी और दिन कहीं और वी विल ट्राई एंड यूज इट अगेन. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Always amazing speaking with all of you. Thank you very much. Dr. Ranganathan, I request you and urge you to stay on with us as we shift focus here, ladies and gentlemen, from the Hindi heartland to